All right, I got my microphone on now. I'm sorry about that. I want to talk to Christine. Christine, can't hear you, buddy. I'm sorry. I got it right now. Let me know if you can hear me now, Christine. Sorry about that. Okay, got you now. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. I did not mean to do the video sideways like this. I meant to do it like that. I meant to do it the other way around. But okay, thank you. Thank you. Out here in the country, and trains are gonna happen. But anyway, y'all, I want to talk to y'all today about these wayward children of ours, these wayward kids. These kids are out here rebelling against their family, rebelling against their parents, out here in these streets like they know what they're doing. There's no win for them, y'all. There's no win for them. I can vouch for that myself. I can attain for that. I lived it. I lived it. I lived it. I lived it. And there's no future out here in these streets. They need to get out of them. They need to go get a trade. They need to do something with their lives other than out here in these streets. I was one of those rebellious kids. I'm gonna tell y'all a story as shortly as I can, short as I possibly can. Sup, Malcolm? Hey, Chad. Hey, you. How's it going, girl? We're talking about my stint in the streets and my time I spent in the streets, the time I spent in prison and jail. It sucked, y'all. It sucked. Luckily, I was tough. My parents tried to send me to Scared Straight and all that. I was already hardened. That didn't help me. That didn't help me at all. That only made me, I don't know. It only proved to me that I was already hardened and there was no turning back at that point. My parents tried to turn me back. They tried to dissuade me from the streets, but one foot in the hood and one foot in the suburbs, I was kind of stuck on stupid. I wish I could go back and change it, but I can't. Now, let's get to prison life. You know, prison is nowhere for kids. It's nowhere for young adults. I am interested in hearing it. Just working, so can't comment much, but here I'm listening. Thank you, Yeet. Thank you. Thank you for listening in. I understand you got duties to tend to. I understand. Um, I'm not sure where to start. I wanted to start with how I started rebelling initially, and then I just wanted to go straight to the jailhouse. I don't know where to start, so I guess I'll just start at the beginning. You know, I grew up in a home. I grew up in a home, two-parent home. You know, the pool in the backyard, the pet dog, both parents, and all that. You know, my dad was a preacher, a Baptist minister. My mom, she was the first lady of the house, of course, the first lady of the church. And we were at church all the time. You hear me? At church all the time. And man, I was always grounded. Of course, I wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect at all. But I did lead a double life. Ditto what you said, because we have some trouble with our 15-year-old who wants to try and act grown but ask for money. That's one thing I didn't do. That's one thing I didn't do. Um, I'll start in the hood to explain that part of it. They moved us out of the hood. They moved us to the suburbs, and all of my friends have brand new cars, brand new bicycles. You know, you remember back then, if you're over 40, the Ataris and Nintendos, and my friends had all that brand new cars. You know, whatever they wanted, they got. Now my parents moved me. Good morning, Celine. Good morning, Chat. Good morning, Celine. My parents moved me out here, and the first thing my dad tells me is, you got to work. You got to work for what you want, son. And I'm going, but my friends ain't working. You know what I mean? So I started rebelling. I'm going to have what my friends have. Y'all, hold on a minute. Hold on just a second. Just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Hope y'all can still hear me. I pinned my microphone up under my neck. It's kind of hard to hold and talk at the same time. But anyway, You know, you move me out of the hood, you move me out here to the suburbs, and I can't have nothing, Pop. I can't have nothing. Hey, cat, good morning, good morning. You move me out here to the suburbs, Pop, and I can't have nothing. I have to work for it. But my friends aren't working for it. My best friend can hear fine. Thank you, Yeet. Thank you. My friends drive brand new Corvettes to school, brand new Camaros, and I can't have one. Okay, so I said no problem. My mom still, my dad's first wife, my first mom, still lived in Fifth Ward where I was born at. So no problem. I just started going back to the hood. She had visitation rights. She had visitation rights. So I would go back to the hood and I would dabble in the hood and kick it in the hood and find out what's going on because honestly they tried to steer me away from that. They tried to keep me out of the streets. I wasn't allowed to ride my bike outside of the fence. Our yard was fenced in, and I had to ride my bike on the driveway or on the sidewalk in front of my house. Anywhere inside the fence, I could ride my bicycle or play hopscotch with my sister or play hide and seek. It had to be done inside the house. So when I got about 14, I guess about 14 is when I started coming out and getting out into the streets and telling my mom I'm going to spend a night at my friend's house. The whole time we're going down to, if you live in Houston, you should know what Bissonnet is. If you live outside of Houston, you might know what Bissonnet is. The Bissonnet, when I was growing up, was in Fifth Ward, Texas. It was in Fifth Ward, Texas, on the corner of Jensen and Lowndes. Jensen and Lowndes was the real Holstrow, where people go and buy women. Okay, I'm trying to censor myself a little bit, but that's where they used to go. That was the original Bissonnet in Houston, Texas. So we would go down there on our bicycles just to see some booty, just to go and get our look on. We were bad little boys. We'd go to the corner of Jensen and Lowndes, go up and down, and just watch them out there in their Daisy Dukes and their bra and their panties. Anyway, that's how my rebellious life. Hostro. That's what they called it. That's what they called it back in the game. I don't know what they call it now, but when I was growing up, Yeet, that's what they called it. I use that phrase too. Yes, ma'am. That's what it was called. Not sure what they call it today, but anyway. So we would go down there and get our peak on, and not spend any money or nothing like that. I had friends that did it, but me personally, my gift to gab was always too good. I could always talk. I could always talk, even when I was thugging. So anyway, this is how it all started with me rebelling. This goes to the commenter. I forgot your name, ma'am. You're having trouble with a 15-year-old. I don't think you can stop children from rebelling. All you can do is stay in their ear. That's all you can do. Stay in their ear. If they're not hardened yet, ma'am, you can send them to those scared straight things. And a lot of kids that aren't hardened yet will listen. They'll listen if you send them to one of those scared straight programs. But me personally, like I said earlier, I was already hardened. I was already hardened by the time my parents got hold to what I was doing. I was like 16, I believe, by then. I'd already been rebelling 2 years, and I'd already had several fights and, done all my little crimes. And it was too late. It was too late. I was already gone. Um, I'd listen to parents sometimes say, I'd rather you be locked up than in the penitentiary. That's something you should stick to, because these streets, there's nothing in the streets but death, the penitentiary. That's it. And disease. Death, the penitentiary, and disease. You don't want your kids to die. You don't want them in a penitentiary for a long time, and you surely don't want them with a disease that they can't cure. So keep them out of the streets. That's all I can tell you. Um, get them into a trade. I don't know. I wish I could tell you guys how to get them to stop rebelling so much. I don't know. I don't know. Like me personally, like I said, my dad was a Baptist minister. My mom was the first lady of the church, and the home was just strict. And they taught me respect. Now I'm a respectful man still to this day, but I think as parents we can kind of go overboard. I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. We're quick to say that, but at the same time, I think there has to be a balance. You have to be somewhat of a friend to your kids so they'll trust you. You know what I mean? If you're strict all the time and they can't go nowhere, they can't do anything, that causes them to rebel. And I think that's what happened with me. If my mom and my sister, my family, if y'all are watching me right now, I'm not blaming my parents. It was all me. It was all me rebelling. I'm just trying to explain that sometimes children need their parents to morph a little bit and pull back on the discipline a little bit and become their friend. Somebody they can talk to and trust, with their deepest secrets. I think that's a lot with me because, like with me, I was like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personally. Um, Larry Brianna. I hope I said your name right. I wouldn't say he's hardened, but he. I wouldn't say he's hardened, but we almost had him sent away to a program called Abraxas. I don't know if Texas has that program. I've never heard of it, ma'am, but it isn't easy to get them in. It isn't easy to get them in the program before they get into the system. It's not easy. They don't make the shit easy, and it's ridiculous. I've never heard of Abraxas personally. I don't even remember the name of the program. If he's not hardened though, you have a great chance of straightening him up. If you allow him to become hardened and think he's Superman, game over. I hate to say it, but once they become hardened, once children become hardened, it's hard to bring them back. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. Y'all keep commenting, keep liking, keep sharing. But when your comments come up, let me see if I can change that. When your some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. Live chat messages are visible. Super chat member and super chat message. I screwed up. I screwed up and hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know y'all are laughing at me. I'm so new to this. I'm still trying to get used to this stuff. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button trying to get into the chat. I am back. I hope y'all come back and holler at me. But anyway, let's go back to prison stories, y'all. I started out as a rebellious kid in the streets, and it it's okay. Thank you, Lorraine Brianna. Thank you for understanding. Screwed up. But anyway, streets started out fairly innocently, just going to some booty as a young kid. And then, I'd go back home to my parents' house and have to be subjected to, all the strict rules. Mom in the hood was a little lax. She wasn't loosey goosey and let me do everything and let me be disrespectful, but at the same time, she gave me room to breathe. You know what I mean? So in that room to breathe, I'm already wanting to rebel. So I go home, I follow the rules, but I turned into like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I would, if you're too young and you don't know who that is, Google it. It's an old movie where a doctor he lived two lives. That's what I turned into. I turned into a guy that was living two lives, where I would go to church, almost every day of the week with my parents, and I was an usher. I was a junior deacon. I was in the choir, and every day of the week we had a day to rehearse something. We had Bible study. We had all kinds of junior deacon meetings and all this. So I was very respectful at home. It was yes sir. It was no sir. It was yes ma'am. It was no ma'am. I mean, I was a gentleman, perfect gentleman at home. My problem came when I left the house. That's where I got in all my trouble at. So uh, I would go back to the hood when my mom she had visitation rights. I'd go back to the hood. If you're wondering where, it was in Fifth Ward, Texas. My dad moved us to Spring, Texas, and to get me out of trouble, and I just kept running back to trouble. So I'd go back to the hood, and with each year that passed by, I got worse and worse and worse because I was seeing more and more and more. I mean, I've seen everything from dead bodies and ditches on the way to school, on the way to my friends' houses. I've seen shootouts. I've seen people shot right in my face. I've had blood splattered on me. I mean, this is all as a kid before I got thuggish or gangster or whatever you want to call it. This all happened before I got hardened. This is the stuff that hardened me. You know what I mean? So I saw dope deals go down in front of me. I saw prostitution. When you hear these songs that say, bitch better have my money, that's a real thing. It's not just on a song. That's a real thing. These pimps, if you don't have their money, I have seen prostitutes get slapped in the middle of the street down to their knees. And I'm going, wow, man, what in the hell? You know what I mean? It's crazy. But that's what they were saying. You're supposed to make $1,000 a day and you made 200. I mean, I've seen stuff like this as a child between the ages of, I don't know, 12 and 20 when I went to the penitentiary. So I ended up doing 18 years. But let me get back to how that happened. Well, I got worse and worse and worse and worse as a kid, right? So started out just looking at booty. Then I started experiencing death right in front of me. And sorry, phone ringing. Y'all call me later. Uh, then it progressed into selling drugs. Well, back then it was all about I'm not sure what I can say on here, but it was all about cocaine for me. I never got into marijuana. I never got into heroin. I never got into any of that. But it started out with cocaine. And what happened was, in short, what happened was is we would sell, make a lot of money, right? We'd make a lot of money selling cocaine, and then a dry spell would hit. Say one of the cartels got busted. If the cartel gets busted, and I think that still happens today in 2025, if the cartel gets busted, what happens is on the streets become dry. It's hard to find anything. So during these times when there's a dry spell and there's nothing to sell, we started robbing. I was a jugger. I wasn't just your average everyday robber. I was a jugger. A jug rather is that little zip bag full of money that people go into the bank and get. Yes, I was a jugger. We would form elaborate schemes, not schemes. We would form elaborate plans to figure out how to get the jug. Now we had a rule. We had a rule: don't mess with women and don't mess with old people. Doesn't matter what race you are. Don't mess with women. Don't mess with old people. So we would go into the bank. One of us would go into the bank, uh, nicely dressed. Another would be out in a stolen car out in the parking lot. This is how I first got in trouble. We would wait out in the parking lot, and so we would wait for somebody to go to the counter. We would hear them say, "Hey, I need $70,000 in all large." That means 70,000 in all $100 bills. Or they would say, "Give me 70,000, $100,000 in all denominations." So that means ones, tens, ones, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, 100s. So we would wait, and we would not do anything if it was not over $20,000. That's a waste of money because a lot of times it was two of us. So what are we going to do if it's less than that? That's not a lot of money. So we would wait for the person to come out of the bank and we would rob them. That's how I got my first trouble. Just trying to, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Y'all, please hit the like button. Please share it for me. Please tag others to watch as we share the inboxes and follow Real Talk 100 Radio LLC on all social media platforms. Thank y'all for watching me. Hit that like or love button for me. I'd appreciate it. any super chats, anything y'all want to send me, that's perfectly fine. I that's new to me too. I'm getting used to that. I'm like, why would they send me that? You know what I mean? But I've gotten quite a few, and I truly appreciate all the people who follow the page. Anyway, let's get back to it. We would wait for them, 20,000 and above. They'd come out, and we would either get them right there on the scene on the bank parking lot, or we would follow them. Long story. I ended up getting shot. That's why I wear the shades. I wear the shades because I've always thought I was a pretty handsome guy. I got shot in the back of the head, top of the head, in the back. It hit the first shot hit me in the back of the head, top of the head, ricocheted off the windshield and hit me in the face. Always thought I was fairly good looking guy. But when I got shot, that hurt my ego. It hurt my ego. I didn't think I was as handsome anymore, so I started wearing the shades. The eyeglasses are because I'm getting old and I can't see anymore. So anyway, we this goes down. Once again, I'm trying to rebel against my parents. My dad's second wife, they're now married. They've been married quite some time. The house is always strict. What's up, Malcolm? Hey, Mel Hugh. Hey, Mel Hugh. The house is always strict, and I get a little more freedom at mom's house in the hood. So I'm getting worse and worse and worse. And I think this goes out to La Ray Brianna. I think this goes out to you. I was getting worse and worse. I was getting harder and harder, and there was no stopping me at this point. The only thing that would stop me was if my parents just said, you know what, we're going to lock you up. And they tried, but they took me to a psychiatrist at first to see if I was mentally disabled or retarded or something like that. And the doctor said, there's nothing retarded about this guy. There's nothing retarded about your son. He's intelligent. He's simply rebelling. So the only thing you guys can do is maybe send him to the service, one of the armed services, maybe send him to a trade school. But if you send him to a trade school, he's not going to do anything but rebel there too because he doesn't want to be there. But in the Army or the Marines or the Navy, it's going to be structured, and that's what he needs. And by the time I decided to go to the armed services, it was too late. The judge said, hey, it's too late. It's too late. You should have done this a long time ago. So that's why I didn't go to the armed services. But before your child becomes hardened, that's what I advise you to do. Send him to the armed forces. It's discipline, it's structure, and it'll damn sure teach him something when he comes home. Now here's the caveat. Here's the problem with that. Sometimes the service only makes you smarter, and you come home with all this PTSD stuff, and yeah, you got psychological problems. Sometimes if they go to war, I've had several friends come home with PTSD coming home from war. But anyway, I ended up, doing robberies, and I ended up getting 30 years. Um, in high school, I left out a little something. In high school, it was all about burglary. That's a long story too. But I graduated from burglary to robbery and selling dope. So when I got the burglary in high school, they gave me what you call deferred adjudicated probation. What deferred adjudicated probation is it's the judge telling you, listen, I know you're young, I know you're impressionable, I know you're just a kid, I know you're just a baby, you don't know what the hell you're doing, so I'm going to give you a slap on the wrist. I'm going to give you 30, 60 days in jail. I think I did 180 days in jail. I'm going to give you time served, but I'm also going to give you a 10-year sentence. I'm going to give you a time served on I think it was 180 days. Time served. I'm going to send you home with your parents with an ankle bracelet on. You live out that ankle bracelet. We're going to take it off, and then you're going to have to live out 10 years on probation without getting in trouble. So my stupid self did not stay out of trouble. So that 10-year sentence and a slap on the wrist turned into 30 aggravated years in Texas Department of Corrections in 1992. 1992. So 1990 from 1992. Excuse me, a phone call's coming in, and they're gone. from 1990. Actually, there's a whole lot to this story, but I transported drugs across state lines into Louisiana in 91. I did 18 months. I got out, sold drugs again, stupid me in the same little town. They caught me again, but I ran. I left my car, I left all kinds of stuff in Louisiana, came back to Texas. A year later, maybe 18 months later, I got the 30 years. So altogether, I did 18 months in Louisiana. I got out for 18 months approximately and went for another 16 and a half in TDC from 1992 until 2007. That's how much penitentiary time I've done. So I'm going to start trying to use my platform to talk to parents, talk to children. Hopefully, you'll let your children listen to me. That place is not for anybody. It's not for anybody. It's inhumane. They feed you when they want to feed you. They let you shower when they want you to shower. They let you talk when they want you to talk. They let you watch TV when you want to watch TV. Now, I've been seeing a lot of videos here lately where people are saying they're allowing cell phones, they're allowing drugs, they're allowing all kinds of stuff in the penitentiary because they want to promote that it's not that bad. I don't know. I have not experienced that. I have not experienced a place where they lock you up and it's fun. It was not fun. We make it fun, of course. You know, we watch sports. We go outside and lift weights. We go to the gym. You can either go to the gym inside or you can go outside. We can watch TV. We can go to the library. We can go to college. We can get our GED. You know, but it's not fun. It's nasty. It's gross. It's disgusting. And now that I look back at it, it's embarrassing. I embarrassed my parents. I embarrassed myself, and it's just not the place to be. So, prison stories. Let's get to it. I told you what got me there. Now, let me tell you about the experience. Now, luckily, I was hardened. This goes to the parents. If your children are not hardened, the place penitentiary really is not for them. Really, if they're not hardened, if they don't know how to use these, all they want to do is shoot up something. The penitentiary is not for them because you need to know how to fight. Because let me tell you my story. My story was I always thought I was pretty handsome. I always thought I was pretty handsome. So I always thought I dressed well. So I came in with starched and iron clothes and my hair. Back then I had hair. I wasn't bald headed, so my hair was all waved up. And I'll come in and I had shades on. They didn't realize I had shades on because I'd been shot in the face. They thought I just came in cool, Mr. Fly Guy, right? So, oh man, this thing it was a big thing about. Oh, he thinks he's he's in touch with his feminine side, and he thinks he's too fly and all this. Y'all hit them thumbs up. Thank you, Shannon Pooh Bear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, the thing with me was, and I'm not speaking for your children, but the thing for me is the tough guys all thought I'm not about that life. I got weak wrists. Luckily, I had strong wrists. Luckily, I had strong wrists. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If your kids aren't made for that kind of lifestyle, they need to chill out right now. Right now. Because let me tell you about my story, and it'll just give you an example of what you're faced with. I come through the door, I'm not messing with nobody, right? Not messing with anybody, not being disrespectful. But because I have starched and iron clothes on, my hair looks good, and I'm dressed well, I got nice shoes on. Oh, it's time to test his manhood and see if he's a real man. I'm like, dude, I ain't messing with you, man. Why are you messing with me? So, I tried the gentlemanly way for a while. No. If you're a gentleman and you're well spoken in the penitentiary, they take that for a weakness. They take that for a weakness, especially if you're well dressed, you're well groomed, you're well spoken, like I was. I've always been well spoken. That's a sign of weakness. So, yeah, I had to fight. I had to fight to prove my manhood. I'm a man, dude. I'm a man. Y'all ain't gonna treat me like some woman. You know, but that's how it was to them. A guy that comes in here well dressed, well behaved, well mannered, well spoken. Oh, he's weak. He's weak because he's well spoken and he's fairly educated already. He's weak. We're gonna use him up. Yeah, no, you're not. But that's because I was tough, folks. If your children aren't ready for that, that pressure is gonna come down. They're gonna get surrounded like I did a couple times, and all you can do is swing, fight back. If they're not already hardened, they're gonna fold. They're gonna fold, and you do not want that. You do not want that. I didn't fold. Yeah, I had a couple ribs cracked, but I never stopped swinging. If three of them are hitting me over here, I'm hitting two of them over here on my left. You feel me? To make sure y'all might beat my ass, y'all might whip my ass today, but y'all are gonna feel me. I bet you feel me. I mean, I'm a normal man. Social media makes that worse nowadays. Social media makes that worse. Makes what worse nowadays? Social media makes that worse nowadays. Showing them the phones and stuff. Yeah, they're making them think it's cool. Penitentiary's not cool, y'all. It's not cool. It's nasty. It's gross. I was in the infirmary. I got a job in the penitentiary. In the Yes, ma'am. Peer pressure. Uh, I got a job in the penitentiary, in the infirmary, and that's where I saw how nasty that place is. Have you ever heard of scabies? Scabies is a disease that attacks the joints, like right here in your arm. Scabies attacks right here in your arm. It attacks behind your leg. People think it's okay to talk to anyone any kind of way nowadays with no repercussions. Exactly, exactly. That's how they feel, and they are totally and completely wrong. Totally and completely wrong. I don't get it. I don't get it. You can't talk to anybody any kind of way and not expect to get slapped in your mouth. You know what I mean? I mean, anyway, if your children aren't made to fight with their hands, please tell them don't go to the jail. Let me start with blacks. Blacks, when you go to the penitentiary, you have to deal with gangs. The gangs are gonna be like, dude, you need to be with us. No, dude, you need to be with us. No, dude, you need to be with us. I got recruited by everybody. Everybody. I got recruited by every gang you can think of. I got recruited by the Muslim community because I was a strong black man with money. I wasn't going to let them exploit me on in any shape, form, or fashion. Was I going to be exploited? But I'm a strong man, physically and mentally. If your kids aren't strong mentally and physically, they're not going to make it. They're going to easily fall in because there's going to be pressure, like Yeet said, there's going to be peer pressure from the whites, from the blacks, from the Hispanics when you go to jail. If you don't want to be with the blacks, now the whites are going to come try to get you. Now the Hispanics are going to try to come get you. You're going to fold because each time you're going to have to prove that you're a man and you're not to be effed with. You feel me? And sooner or later, if you don't have hands and don't know how to protect yourself, sooner or later you're going to fold. You're going to fold either by submission, by saying, "Okay, look, I'll wash your clothes." Tell your kids don't ever wash nobody else's clothes in jail. That's a sign of weakness. Now, take that. Let me take that back. Now, hold on. Let me rephrase. If you have a business, you can do that. Now they're still going to talk noise about you, but at least you're making money. You can make money doing clothes. You can say, hey, y'all got some laundry y'all need me to wash. Hey, y'all pay me up front because they will not pay you if they think you're weak. You get your money up front. You tell them, hey, I wash every Wednesday, every Thursday, whatever. Anyway, that is a legitimate way to make money in the penitentiary. But if they ask you, listen, we'll stop beating you up if you wash our clothes. That's a trap. That's a trap. That's a trap. That's the first sign that you're weak. Okay, he's going to wash our clothes for free. So now he's going to offer that backside up for free. They're total freaks in the penitentiary, y'all. Total freaks. Total. And I wasn't trying to hear it. I got my bang on. I got my fight on. I beat up some. I got beat up sometimes. But the whole thing is respect. It doesn't matter if you lose. That's what these kids out here in the streets don't understand. These kids out here in society don't understand. So what you lose? You fought. You fought. When you fight, that gains respect. And that's what I did in penitentiary. I'm not gonna say I lost. I lost maybe 30%. I'll say if I fought 10 times, I lost 3 times. Those other 7 times, I beat their ass. You know what I mean? So, but it was more. Excuse me. It was more fights than that. It was like I had like 20, probably 20 fights, 20, 22 fights, something like that. And out of 22 fights, I lost a good 4, maybe 5. But the whole thing, like I keep saying, it's about respect. It's about earning your stripes. And after a while, what happened was because I knew how to fight, I knew how to protect myself, I knew how to take a loss. Eventually, the OGs were like, "Dude, leave him alone. He's a neutron." They started calling me a neutron. He's not gang affiliated, is what that means. But if your children don't know how to fight, I don't care if they're men or women, young men or young women, they're going to be recruited by somebody in the penitentiary to become their slaves, either sexually or physically. Whatever, wash clothes or sexually. And you'll get passed around just like this P Diddy crap. You know what I mean? You'll get passed around just like that. Okay, I need you to go down to my homie's cell down there, and I need you to wash his clothes. And while you're down there, I need you to take care of it. Stuff like that. I mean, I've seen all kinds of rapes in the shower. In the shower, I don't know how many of y'all go to gyms, but in the penitentiary, the shower areas are open areas where everybody showers together. You might have 100, 150, 200 people showering at the same time. I've seen gang rapes in the shower right in front of me. Do y'all hear me? Right in front of me. And I'll never forget those. I should have PTSD right now because those screams, those hollers were real life shit. I mean, I'm not gay or anything, but some of the things they were putting in that man, those men, I don't see how they took it, but they took it, and it was brutal. Some children aren't made to watch this kind of stuff without having lifelong mental issues. Anyway, these are the things I saw. One of the worst things experiences ever went through were riots. Riots. I mean, you never know when you're going to get stabbed. You never know when you're going to get hit upside the head with a can of mackerel or chili or whatever, something that's not going to bust. You could get stabbed. I've been in at least 6 riots in my lifetime. That's not fun. You have to. There's a certain way to fight. You got to get against the wall. Just like one of my favorite movies is Gladiator. And Gladiator, in that movie, I can't help but remember back to the riots when I watched Gladiator, when they're all together in the middle of the arena. And he says, "Put your backs together. Put your backs together. We're stronger together. We're stronger together." That is some true shit. That's I couldn't help but think back to the penitentiary when I watched Gladiator, and I've watched Gladiator at least 40 times, no exaggeration, in my lifetime. That's one of my favorite movies. But anyway, penitentiary life is not for kids who don't know how to fight, don't know how to defend themselves, don't know how to speak for themselves. You have to know how to speak up. Speak up. That's not going to happen. That's all they got to say. That's not going to happen. And stand on that shit. Stand on it. Stand on it. Don't say that's not going to happen. You're not going to use me for this or that. You're not going to use me for this or that. Stand on it. Just don't say it. They have to stand on this stuff. I'm not sure if I'm helping anybody. Let me know if I'm not, and I will change course. I'm just trying to educate y'all if you've never been in jail, never been in a penitentiary, and you don't know what to tell these kids, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. My parents tried to tell me everything under the book to keep me out of trouble. I kept rebelling. I kept rebelling. I kept rebelling. And after a while, my dad was like, okay, okay, you don't want to listen to us. Go ahead. You want to be hard headed? Go ahead. And he sent me down there, and he was so embarrassed. That's another story how he was embarrassed. We had a corner house in a suburban neighborhood. We had a corner house. As soon as you entered the neighborhood, you saw our house. You can still see it now. My mom still stays there today. But uh, 10, 20 police cars were surrounding that house. So he was very embarrassed being a pastor in the community, a pastor of his own church in our community, and his son has 20 police cars around his home. Was embarrassing. So what he did was when I went to the penitentiary, he cut me off. He said, "Man, I'm not sending you no money. I'm not coming to see you. If it wasn't for my mom, those first few years, those a few years while I was away, I wouldn't have had any money. I wouldn't have had any visits, any letters. I wouldn't have had anything. Thank God for my mom. I just went and saw her today, yesterday, excuse me. We took some pictures and stuff. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see those pictures that I took yesterday. I was in the streets when I was in my teens, but single parent household, so my mom couldn't handle me. Thankfully, I never got caught doing anything. You're lucky, Yeet. You're lucky. You're lucky. Single parent home. I had two parents. Two parents. When my dad divorced his first wife, God, she's in heaven now. Uh, think about her all the time, but she's in heaven now. She when her and my dad divorced, we were in Fifth Ward, two parent home there. Then he got married to my mom, my second mom, the only mom I have now. They moved us out to Spring Klein, Texas, and still had a two parent home. They didn't know what to do with me, even in a two parent home. They didn't know what to do with me because I was just rebelling. Like I said, I was living a double life. I was very respectful at home until late. I started getting disrespectful at home when he started trying to, verbally disciplining me wasn't working. So he started getting physical, and once that happened, I thought I was tough guy. I never fought back. I never fought my dad. Never. Too much respect to fight my dad. But the more he got physical with me, the more I started punching holes in the walls. There's still holes in my parents' home today. I'm just being rebellious and being an ass, And the tighter he got with discipline, the badder I got in the streets. And I don't know, y'all. Let me know if I'm helping you. Parents that need help with these children, these wayward kids, they're very disrespectful these days, and they don't understand that ass whippings we got helped us become the disciplined people we are today. Even though I went through my shit. You can't find a more respectful guy on this planet because I think of how my parents raised me. I think of that now. I never thought I'd think like my parents, but I think like them now. So, kids, if you're listening to your parents, listen to me. You can talk that shit now, but when you get older, you're gonna be like, okay, I see what mom and dad were talking about because I'm telling you, I was a hard ass. I was a hard ass. I mean, I fought, I stole, I robbed, I sold drugs, I did all kinds of shit. I didn't do any of this pimping stuff. That wasn't my forte. I may have taken some of their thoughts, some of the ways they converse, they talk to people, but I never got into that pimping stuff. That just wasn't for me. Same here. So many times I think of my mom and I'm like, you were right. Exactly, Yeet. Exactly. They were right. We were just too rebellious to listen. Um, but back to where was I? Where was I? Where was I? I was talking about children going to two parent home. I forgot where I was at, but y'all, I want to help you guys if I can. I want to help you guys if I can. I don't have all the answers. Like I said already, um, once your children are hardened, it is hard to bring them back. You have to catch them at early ages before they get hard. What do I mean by hard? You can't allow them to experience what's happening in the streets. You can't allow them to witness what goes on in the streets. You can't allow them to experience it because once they do, how long were you incarcerated? Once they do, I was incarcerated 18 total years. I did 18 months. I did 18 months in Louisiana from 90 to 91, about 18 months. And then I got out and stayed out till 1992, around the end in September of 1992. And I did 16 and a half years in TDC. So, yes, I was in Louisiana for 18 months for trafficking drugs across state lines and distributing drugs across state lines and in possession of weapons. Of course, we had to protect ourselves. So, yes, we had weapons on us too. The weapons case got kicked out of court because they wanted me for the drugs. So they got me. I did 18 months. It's a long story. I basically got out of that trouble because I can talk about it now. But I was a slick one, y'all. I was a slick one. I knew that this was a country town. This was a country town. I won't mention which town I was in. That's wild, Malcolm. Yes, ma'am. I was a wild child. I promise you. Um, uh, I knew that we were in a country town that didn't have all of the NCIC machines. NCIC machines are the fingerprint machines. The database is all over the world, and all they have to do is fingerprint you, and they can tell if you did a crime in New York or California. I knew they didn't have that. All they had was the old school. Okay, come here. Let me get your fingerprint. I saw that and I was like, I'm not going to give these people my real name. So I gave them an alias. That got me out of trouble, but I still had to do 18 months. They ended up sending my paperwork to my parents, and my parents immediately came to see me and were like, "Who the hell is this guy? Who? Why are they sending his mail to our house?" and I'm I had to tell them, look, y'all, look, I gave them an alias. The statute of limitations is over now. They can't do anything to me. They gave me a whole pardon. I'll get to that in a minute. So my parents are like, "Boy, what have you done?" And I'm like, we were selling drugs and da 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 da. And I said, I saw a way I could wiggle out of it, and I did. So just sign the paperwork. I mean, give me the paperwork. Let me sign it. They pardoned me with the stipulation that I never come back to the state of Louisiana. Um, but I go back to Louisiana all the time because I'm me. I'm not the alias. So they said to the alias guy, sign this pardon. We're going to excuse you from the crime. You go back to Texas where you belong and never come back here, Mr. Such and Such, that I named myself on the alias name. So they said, don't come back to Louisiana. Yeah, I did it. I did it. This is true life shit. So I go back home, and that guy, that alias guy, never went back to Louisiana, but Malcolm did. I did. So that's how I got out of that trouble, but I still had to do 18 months before they gave me the pardon. I got out. I stayed out till September of 1992 is when I got in trouble again. So I was in Louisiana from 90, I forgot what month, until 91. I forgot what month I got out. Stayed out till September of 1992 and got an aggravated robbery charge in Houston, Texas. That is why I wear the shades. I wear the shades because I got shot. For those of you who are just now listening to me for the first time, I wear the shades because I got shot in what you call a jugging incident. We were juggers. We didn't call ourselves robbers. We didn't rob people. We jugged. A jug is the money bag that people carry the money in with the zipper on it. That's a jug. We used to target jugs for $20,000 and above. If it was under 20,000, we weren't messing with it. That's not enough money. So we weren't these guys, these stupid guys that go out here and rob for $20 out of the 7-Eleven cash box, cash register. No, that was a waste of time. And you're gonna get penitentiary time for $20, dude. We used to laugh at those kind of guys. But anyway, ended up doing the robbery. I got shot. The shot was from our victims. The gunshot came from our victim's employee. Long story, I can tell it anytime, but just to shorten the story, we did a bump and snatch. A bump and snatch is when you have someone in a car in front of you and you act like you hit them with the car. You act like it's a car accident, and you get out and you rob them. That's called a bump and snatch. That's what we did, a lot of those. And this particular day when I got shot, the guy peeped game. He saw what was about to happen, so he took off driving. When he took off driving, I left my buddy standing in the middle of the street shooting at him, and I'm ducking up under their bullets, hoping they don't shoot me in the back of the head. I leave them in the back and behind me, and I go about 2 blocks. Y'all hit that like or love button, y'all. Y'all hit that like or love button and subscribe to Real Talk 100 Radio LLC. I appreciate the love, the likes. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the subscriptions. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the super stickers. I can't remember everything that y'all can send me, but I appreciate all that. I don't expect it. I didn't expect it at first, but I'm like, wow, really? They appreciate me. Thank you. But anyway, I got shot. Excuse me. I pulled on. I left my buddies in the middle of the street shooting, right? I drive about, I don't know, a city block where his place of business was. When I pulled onto the scene, his employee heard the gunshots that my buddies were firing up the street. As soon as I pulled onto their parking lot, their business parking lot, he unloads on me, shoots through the back windshield of my car, of the stolen car that I was in. It hits, the initial shot hits me in the back, peppers the back of my head, ricocheted off the top of my head, and ricocheted off the front windshield and hit me in the face. That is why I wear the shades. For anybody who's new to the channel, I wear the glasses because I'm getting old, y'all, and I can't see that good anymore. So I wear them both because here's a short story, and I'll get back to crime. My crimes that got me sent away for a long time. Thank you for the questions. Y'all ask me anything you want about street life. You might be able to pass on to your kids. Ask me anything you want about jailhouse rules, or jail life, or penitentiary rules. Ask me anything you'd like Yeet is doing. Thank you, Yeet. Thank you. Got peppered. Where was I at? I was saying that I ended up getting shot. That's why I wear the glasses. I almost died, y'all. Almost died. I bled out. I was bleeding out. Luckily, I laid down. They had helicopters swarming all over the place, trying to apprehend me. I wouldn't stop running through the woods. Eventually, I had lost too much blood to continue, so I laid down. Or I would have bled out. And that's that story. I don't know where I was going with that, but this is not the life. I was already hardened. There was no coming back. I wish I knew where I was going. I keep getting off base. Yeet asked me how long did I do. I did 18 total years. I went in. LeRae Brianna, yeah, scary. I was a scary guy, and I'm ashamed now. I'm not on here bragging. I'm ashamed now. I embarrassed my parents, but I scared the hell out of them too, because they, I'm making all this money. I'm making like 20 grand a month, and between drugs and robbing, and stupid, didn't have any insurance. I should have had the best insurance in the world, so I end up getting shot. And hey, Glow XO, hey, y'all share the video. Y'all share the video and hit that like or love button as many times as you want to. Yeah, I ended up going to the hospital, and my parents, man, they showed up. I don't know, 7 hours later. Um, they finally let them in to see me as next of kin. And because I didn't have insurance, they had placed me in the back hallway of some hallway with I'm stuck to the bed. Blood is just leaking. My eyes gone. My eyes sticking out here. My head. I'm looking like Elephant Man. If y'all seen Elephant Man the movie before, that's what I was looking like on this day when I got shot. So they come. They find me in the back hallway of the hospital. I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck to the bed, y'all, because the blood has just hardened. It's hard now. It's no longer leaking. It's just dried up on me, and I've dried, and I'm stuck to the bed. So my dad pitched a fit about that. He said, "Look, he can use my insurance. Y'all get my son off this bed." And so I ended up, they did surgery on my face, surgery on my head to remove some of the some of the pellet fraction, the pellet fragments, excuse me, and operated on me a little bit, and the rest is history. I operated on me like 4 times with my dad's insurance. They put me on as soon as they could. Um, I ended up after surgery. I woke up chained. My feet were chained. My feet were chained to the bed. One hand was chained to the leg. The hand that didn't have an IV on it was chained to the bed. My legs were shackled to the bed, and I had an armed guard in my hospital room with me at all times, 24 hours a day. They didn't want me to escape. So thank y'all for joining. I see some new faces in here. Thank y'all for joining me. We're talking anything you'd like to talk about pertaining to these children, these disrespectful children out here. And I know it's kind of strange to hear an ex thug and an ex criminal talking about disrespectful kids, but I was never disrespectful. I was always a gentleman. I was just a gentleman who was a gangster. I don't know any I don't know any other way to describe it. You know what I mean? I was always a gentleman though. Always. I mean, I remember one time we were robbing this lady. Robbing this lady. She had about I don't know, about $80,000 on her. And my friends were just like, dude, stop being nice. The hell, dude, we're here for the money. And you're trying to be all nice. And I'm like, dude, just because we're doing this don't mean we gotta be assholes, man. You know? So without harming her, that was my thing. We ain't gotta harm nobody. But I had buddies that I had to get away from because they were all about shooting people and pistol whipping people. And I said, no, dude, you're gonna increase our jail time, dude. I don't want a murder case. I'm just trying to make some money. That's it. So I had to separate myself from guys like that. But yeah, I was still a gentleman in the streets. I don't see any more questions. Y'all come on with it. I'm here to educate parents. I'm here to educate children on staying out of these streets. Yeah, yeah. It's hard for some people to hear me say, kids are disrespectful these days. I'm just saying, you don't have to be disrespectful. I was living two lives personally. I was a preacher's kid in daytime, and I was the devil at night. That's the best way I can describe me as a kid. You know, when I got in trouble, when I got in trouble, the entire community, the church community, my neighborhood, all my teachers, all my friends were just like, "What, Malcolm? Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Gentleman, Mr. All Star Athlete, the church guy that goes to church with his parents every Sunday is doing what? Selling dope and robbing people? What?" Yeah, yeah. I shocked the entire community. You know, I shocked the entire community. So if your kid is living that kind of life, do not be surprised. Do not. But yeah, uh, let's see. Where can I go now? Where can I go now? Where can I go now? Shackled to the bed, living a double life. Ended up going to jail for a long time. I didn't have to. Here's a wild story I can tell. Here's a wild story I can tell. I was going back and forth to Louisiana for probably 3 years. Yeah, 1990, 87, 88. No, 2 years. 2 years. 2 years from 88 after I graduated until 1990. I was going back and forth to Louisiana. So the guys, we were taking large sums of COCAINE. I don't know what I can say on here, y'all. So y'all don't laugh at me. I don't want to get kicked out of the community. And I just got monetized, so I'm watching my words on here. Uh, I was transporting COCAINE across state lines and distributing it in wholesale prices and retail prices. So we were making a lot of money. So the guys in Louisiana ended up getting jealous of us. Like, dude, he's coming up here making all this money. We're gonna rob him. We're gonna kill him. Well, I didn't find this out until after I went to jail. A crackhead, was my cellmate in Louisiana, and he said, "Dude, you're lucky to be alive." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Dude, we tried to kill you, and we tried to rob you and kill you 3 times, but your ass wouldn't stay still." And I said, "What do you mean, man?" He said, "We knew where you stayed because somebody in your crew was letting us know where you were. They weren't trying to get you killed, but unbeknownst to them, they were letting us know where you were at all times. They didn't know we meant you any harm. So they were telling us where you're staying, what time you're doing this, what time you're doing that." So anyway, we came to your motel room 3 times. Kicked your one time we kicked your door in. Luckily, the frame didn't break, so we were able to come out, shut the door back. Another time, another time we waited on you to come in and you didn't. You spent the night in New Orleans somewhere. And then another night, I forgot what he said, but we tried to kill you 3 times and rob you of everything. I mean, we had everything. We probably had 20 grand on us and probably $100,000 in COCAINE. And they wanted us robbed and killed. So now here it is months later, I'm in jail with a guy who was going to rob and kill me. And he's like, "Dude, you're a lucky man to still be alive." So that's a crazy story I have. I shouldn't even be here in front of you. I was supposed to be robbed and killed by this crackhead. And then I was supposed to be killed on the day that I got shot in the face, got shot in the head. I should not be alive right now. And my parents tell me all the time, "You're one lucky man. You had God on your side the whole time." And I thank God. I have to thank God when I think of these situations I put myself in because, then I went to jail. I went to jail and I was in several riots. And at any time, I could have gotten stabbed and had my life taken from me. But luckily, with God on my shoulder, and luck on my side, I was never stabbed. And believe me, there was plenty of opportunities for me to get stabbed up, surrounded, surrounded by people fighting me just because I was black. That's a whole different thing. That's something else that kids need to know about jail. I don't care how cool you are. When you go to prison, you got to choose. You have to choose unless you are a solid man or woman and you're going to fight for your manhood. You're going to fight for your womanhood until death. And only then will they get up off of you. But until you prove that, they're going to stay on you like white on rice until you join. If you're black, they want you to join one of the black either gangs or memberships. I don't want to go too far in depth here. I don't want to cross any boundaries here, but you have to choose a team. I'll put it like that. You have to choose a team unless you're solid, rock solid. I ended up being one of the rock solid ones, and they ended up leaving me alone. They started calling me a neutron. But in most cases, if you're white, The white guys ain't gonna let you go to the black gangs unless you're claiming one of their sets. They're gonna make you choose. You have to be an Aryan Brotherhood. That's what they're gonna tell you. The black guys, you got to be with us. Man, I ain't got to be with nobody. I'm black as hell. If something goes down and they're trying to kill blacks, I got you. I got you back. But I'm not gonna join anything. I came in here by myself. You feel me? I came in here by myself, and I'm gonna leave here by myself. Now, if I make some homeboys, some friends along the way, that's one thing. But you're not gonna dictate to me that I owe some kind of allegiance or loyalty to you because you're in such and such gang or set or whatever you want to call it. No, it ain't going down like that. But a lot of people aren't as strong willed as I was, and they fold. They fold, man. I'm not fighting 10 guys every day. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's what a lot of people say. You know, okay, don't stick your private parts in me. I'll wash your clothes. I'll cook for you. What they're doing is that's a game they play with weak minds. Okay, okay, we're gonna impress upon him. We're not gonna rape him. He's only gonna be our cook. He's only going to be our clothes washer. He's only gonna be our errand boy or errand girl. The whole time they're grooming you. They're grooming you. I've seen it done. I've seen it done. They will groom you. One night they'll get you all comfortable. This is another experience. One night I watched them groom this guy, and several people were telling him, "Man, you need to have a beer or something." People were telling him, "Look, dude, you're in trouble. You need to get yourself in a safe spot." And he wouldn't listen. Wouldn't listen. Oh, they got me. They got me. They got me. I'm cool. I'm cool with them now. I'm cool with them now. They groomed him to the point to where he was completely secure in himself. He was completely comfortable around these guys. And what they did is they planned a dinner night, a feast night kind of thing where he cooks a big huge spread, right? All the homies are in the same spot, in the same cell. It's like 5 or 6 of them, and they had an open cell policy where we were at, so you could leave and come and go as you please. So it might be 5 guys in there at a time. The other 5 are hanging outside on the run, on the walkway outside of the cell. Maybe some of them are downstairs. Anyway, they ended up playing tag team with this guy. They ended up playing tag team with him. He's in there cooking. He's in there comfortable. He's making everybody plates. Next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. And somebody's inside of him. And the cell's closed. And what the way they stop the officers from hearing this is it's way down at the end of the run where the officer, it's already hard for the officer to hear. And second of all, they made sure one of their other homies or 2 of their other homies, their radios are way up loud. Jam, 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 jam. So it's hard to hear, right? The whole time they're in there tearing him off the frame. Before it was over, he was no longer fighting. He submitted. When he came out, he cleaned himself up. He went to the shower like nothing happened because he was embarrassed. From that day on, he was their girl. If your kids don't know how to fight, if your kids can't recognize game when it's in their face, they're in trouble. I don't care if it's a Snicker bar. I've had people offer me, "Man, you want some candy?" Just like you hear these pedophiles do. Hey kid, you want some candy? Hey kid, you want some ice cream? Don't take it in the penitentiary. Don't take it if you don't know that fella. If you don't know that woman, don't take it. It's a setup. They want to get you indebted to them. Remember all them Snickers I gave you? Now it's time for me to have a Snicker. Now don't don't get it twisted. There's nothing sweet about the penitentiary. Nothing. I don't advise anybody to go. I don't even advise my enemy to go to the penitentiary. I don't advise it. It ain't cool. It ain't cool. It ain't no place for a civilized person to be. You hear me? It's a place for uncivilized people. If you consider yourself, you consider your children civilized, they don't belong in the penitentiary, folks. They don't belong there. So I did my time. I'm out now. I've been out since June 1st, 2007. I'm not turning back. That is not a place for me. I don't care how tough I am. I don't care how good I can fight. I don't care how I won 70% of my fights and only lost 30% of my fights. I don't care. That is not a place for me. It's a place for uncivilized people. And I consider myself civilized, highly civilized. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud I didn't go in there and become uncivilized because a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Christina Rosella says 100. Yeah, I came out civilized. I came out civilized. Now, true enough, I came out somewhat. I came out somewhat institutionalized because hell, I was in there 18 fucking years. It's hard, when you go in. Let me give you an example. When I went in 91, let's just say 91, because I only stayed out a year. When I went in, cell phones were huge. Cell phones were, if y'all remember, if you're up in age, cell phones weren't this big back then. Cell phones were huge. Damn, 18 years is a long ass time, Malcolm. Yes, ma'am. That's a long time. When I went to jail, cell phones were huge. Cell phones looked like suitcases. Cell phones looked like suitcases on your arm. We used to wear cell phones on our shoulders when I went to jail. When I got out, my dad handed me a cell phone this big. And I was like, what is that? So, yes, I was somewhat institutionalized. There was a lot of stuff I had to catch up on. Gas tanks. Gas tanks changed. When you pump gas at the gas station, gas tanks changed. How did you adjust to all the changes when you got out? My parents, my daughters were 7 and 14. My daughters were 7 and 14 when I got out. So all this social media stuff, Dad, you got to learn. You got to learn what LOL means. You got to learn what LMAO means. You got to learn what this means and that means. So if it weren't for my daughters, I'd be completely lost on social media. It's a miracle I know what I know because of them. Everything else, I learned a lot through observation, just sitting back watching. A lot my parents taught me because I had to live with them. One of the stipulations for me getting out was that I had to have a place to stay. Like a lot of guys don't have a place to stay when they get home. My parents had to sign documents saying, yes, our son can come home. He will be supported. He will have guidance and this and that. So they brought me into their home and taught me a lot about society. That saved me. My parents and my daughters. I think that was Miss Christine Rosella. I think that's how I adjusted. It was hard. The only thing I hang on to now, and I don't think it's a part of being institutionalized. I think it has more to do with, what do you call it? Being in tune with your surroundings. Um, um, I forgot what you call it. I having a brain fart live. I'm sorry, but I'm aware of my surroundings at all times. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that's because you've been locked up." No, that might have something to do with it because I needed to know when somebody had a knife or something and might be wanting to stab me or something. Yeah, but when you're in society, the society we live in, I think it's very important that like, for example, when I go to a restaurant, I don't care what restaurant it is. I don't care if it's 5-star or 1-star. I'm going to be facing the door at all times. Situational awareness. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm well aware of my surroundings, and I utilize situational awareness at all times. 5-star restaurant or a 1-star restaurant. We could be at McDonald's. I'm still going to face the door because I want to know when the madman or crazy woman comes to the door with a gun and is going to shoot up the place. No, I'm going to see them as soon as they get out of their car, and I'm going to say, "Look, baby, look, kids, come on, we're going out this door because a damn fool is going to come in here. You know what I mean? So I don't call it, but people say that's because you're institutionalized. So I'm saying if I'm still hanging on to something from the penitentiary, that's about it. That's about it. And that's questionable because I think everybody should be completely cognizant of their surroundings, whether you're a child or an adult. So that's questionable. Anyway, that's all I hold on to. But I was answering a question. How did I adjust my kids and my parents? My kids and my parents. And some of y'all might be saying, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. My oldest was 17 and my youngest was 4. My youngest was 4. And some of y'all might be asking, how was your child 4 and you did 18 years? Because I adopted her. I adopted her. The woman, the my sorry, the phone's ringing. I never have my back door. I never have my back to the door. Never, never. I want to see the crazies coming in, Glow XO. But some of you might be asking, how is your child 4? Well, the woman I was with when I got incarcerated had a child by another man, and I was guilt ridden. I was guilt ridden for leaving my 17-year-old alone out here in a world by herself with her mom. So I got out and I married her. I married the woman I was with when I got incarcerated, and she had a child when I was away. That child's father ended up being incarcerated too when I got home. I took that child as my own. That's how I had a 4-year-old when I got home. So now 17 years later, she's about to be 22 in February, 23. She's about to be 23 in February, this upcoming year. And then I have a child that is 30. She's 30. She was born 34. I'm sorry. I've been home 17 years. She's 34 now. And so if it weren't for my 4-year-old and my 17-year-old, I'd have been lost. And thank God for my parents. My dad's now deceased, but he instilled everything he could in his son to keep me free. Um, I still got out and rebelled. They wanted me to take $7 an hour jobs, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking a $7 an hour job. No, I'm not. And they thought I was being disrespectful. They thought I was being ungrateful, and I'm just like, no, no, I'm truly grateful. But $7 an hour, y'all want me to pay rent here. You want me to buy groceries here. You want me to get a part. You want me to save money for an apartment and a car. How the hell am I going to do all that with $7 an hour? Come on now. That's the only reason I don't want 7 an hour. Now, if you said 18 or $22 an hour, cool. I'm all for it. So anyway, I went through a rebellious stage, and this is what started me on my entrepreneurial journey. This is why I started founding businesses. My first business was a tree service. First business was a tree service. I found a way to capitalize. I found a way to capitalize on a homeboy's business. He already had this business up in operation, but he was not doing any advertising. He was not doing any marketing. So I'm like, okay, my daughter's taught me all about this social media thing. I'm going to be your advertiser and your marketer. So we made a lot of money until my truck got stolen. And once again, like I said, I didn't have insurance when I got shot. Stupid self didn't have insurance again on my business. My truck ended up getting stolen. Equipment ended up getting stolen, and I couldn't regroup. So we went from that to second business was a liquor store. The third business was a daiquiri shop. And now I have the virtual mail and office rental, and I have the radio station. So here we are. It's 2025, and I've decided to use my platform, at least partially, to educate families about the whole rebellion thing, to being jailed, your children being jailed, sent to prison. It's a system, y'all. It's a system. If you don't capitalize on the system, if you don't educate yourself on the system early, you're subject to being trapped in that system for life. And I don't want anybody else trapped like I was mentally. It starts mentally. The trap starts mentally, and then they incarcerate you physically. What do I mean by that? Just because you're born poor, and like I said, I wasn't poor. My mom wasn't poor. She just happened to live in the ghetto, uh, in the hood, and my dad wasn't poor with my mom, with his second wife. They weren't poor. They both made six figures a year, both of them. Uh, I was just rebellious. So what I mean by trapped is a lot of people feel like a lot of people feel like just because I don't know I'm black, just because I'm poor, they use excuses to stay trapped. No, the system is set up for you to fail if you stay ignorant. And I don't mean any shade. I don't mean to throw any shade there, but we have to educate ourselves on how the system works. You have to educate yourselves. You have to educate your children. You have to educate them on finances early, or they'll end up a part of the system. What is the system, Malcolm? The system is go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. Never invest anything. Just be a consumer your whole life. What they do is you're working to support their businesses. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You become a slave to the system. Now, I'm not saying don't go shopping. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you go, like, I'm going to use the Jordan people, the people who want all the newest Jordans and shit. Let me tell y'all something. If you're going to go out and you're going to spend all your money on all the Jordans, say you spend $10,000 in the last 10 years on Jordans, let's just say, every pair of Jordan that comes out, you got to have it on your feet, right? Your kids got to have it on their feet, right? Why don't you spend some of that money? Why don't you spend that same $10,000 and invest in Jordans? Now you're part owner. Now you're part owner of a brand, $1 billion brand, instead of putting them on your feet. That way you can live on what's called dividends. Why not do that instead of going out and spending all your money on shoes that are gonna lose value as soon as you put them on your feet, as soon as they leave the store? Why would you do that? You're becoming a part of the system. You're contributing to the system. Now you feel like you got to keep up with everybody. Oh, they got to have Jordans. No, sit back, invest your money, and the money will come back to you tenfold, way quicker than it will with you going and spending all your money on tennis shoes. You're becoming a part of the system. They want us all to be slaves to the system. We have billion-dollar businesses. We want y'all to go to work and spend all your money to continue making us rich. Okay, okay, I'm gonna make you rich, but I'm also gonna make myself rich by investing in your product or your brand or your service. That's what you do to get yourself out of that loop. I got several different things I've been studying over the years to make sure I'm not a slave to the system. I don't want to be 70 years old and still living like I'm 20. Take your money, invest it into something. That's the main thing I've learned since I've been free. Take your money and invest in something. I'm going to get off here for now, y'all. Got things to do around the house. I just wanted to go live for a few minutes and talk to y'all. I know I've been missing for a minute, but I had to move out of my office. My building was bought out from under me. They told me that they sold the building to a daycare. So we had to move by May 12th. So I've been moving out and trying to find a new location. Haven't found one yet that fits inside my budget. Thinking about just opening up the third bedroom and doing the show from there. I really don't want to because To me, that's just it's not professional. If I want to interview somebody, I don't want them coming to my house. You know what I mean? I don't want all that. So I really don't want to do it from here. But that's my only option right now. But anyway, just explaining why I've been kind of missing in action. Me and Maybe haven't been doing the show lately because this is what I'm going through behind closed doors. So um, don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm looking for the right place at the right time to fit inside my budget. I don't want to spend too much because of the industry. The music industry is in flux right now. The artists are broke. When you hear people saying struggling artists, that is so true. Artists struggle. They are A lot of them don't work. They're depending on their music they're depending on their music to support their lives, and their music isn't paying off right now. So when it comes to paying for services, they don't have anything. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at right now. I don't want to spend a lot of money on overhead until things come together. I'll get off right now, y'all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. I'm an open book. Whenever I go live, I'm willing to answer anything you have about life, about relationships, about penitentiary life, about street life. All you got to do is ask me and I'll answer. That's all I got for now. I believe me and May will go live later. I'm not sure yet. I have to work out my schedule here and see later. But thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscriptions, the super chats, the super stickers. All y'all do for Real Talk 100 Radio LLC and this guy, Malcolm. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.